It's such a deep joy. When you pull one of these off, there's nothing sweeter than that. This piece is called Beginnings because for many who go to the university, this is the beginning of a new life for them. It's two hands that hold the students there and bring them to maturity. I feel that the sculpture should not be just a pretty thing to look at. I want to make something meaningful that is certainly positive about being a human being and having a good life on earth. This sculpture is about courting, about a man and a woman who are, I guess, going to marry, and they're trying to learn about each other. I find that people smile when they look at this.
We saw his work, Generations, and we wanted to discuss Aris doing a piece for us, but he got so excited about where he would put acrobats overlooking the sea, and so we ended up commissioning it, and it grew a bit.
I think Aris's sculpture brings the property to life, and I think that spreads amongst everybody who comes out to see it. They have that same feeling.
We actually named the sculpture. It wasn't a name that Aris had attached to it, but it's a name that we attached to it because that's what it made us feel like, the joy of life.
I wanted something there that people would go and say, wow, life is good, I'm smiling, I look at this and I feel better for doing it. And that's a procession of those people. You scan it like this and something has happened.
Bringing a piece of Aris's work into your home is bringing a piece of Aris. We're fortunate to feel like we have Aris close to us.
Aris was enormously fortunate. His mother was Virginia Lee Burton, the author-illustrator of celebrated children's books. She gave him a sense of whimsy, a sense of joy. If you look at her art, it resonates with your soul. His father, in contrast, was a classical sculptor from the Greek tradition. I think his father gave him both discipline on the one hand and great love and affection on the other hand.
I went to Harvard and then I went in the Navy, and I got out in August and I was going to go to a painting school. And he said, why don't you come to my class and I'll teach you about form because you're going to have to use it then. So I never forget, I picked up the clay and in 10 seconds I was doomed. I was going to be a sculptor.
Suddenly he knew that he was indeed going to follow in his parents' footsteps. Although it was very important to him, as he reports, that he carve out a niche, a legacy of his own. So his work, to me, has elements of whimsy and joyousness that his mother has, but very methodical and a perfectionist that his father had.
Well, it starts in my head and my soul, I guess. I draw a lot. Then I can do it on the computer in 3D and then play around with it. And then I cut it out on a bandsaw so that it's something that exists away from me. And then I look at it for a long time. And I fool around with it, till I get something that works. So now I have this. What should I do with it? Wonder what this will look like.
We knew that we wanted the piece of art to create some sort of positive impact on people. Often when patients or their family members come to this space, it's not with good news on their mind, or they're not always leaving with good news. Cancer can be a very scary experience. And this being the first thing that greets everybody that walks through their doors here, we knew that we wanted it to be something that gave them some feeling of positivity. We didn't know, though, how much joy this piece could really bring to everybody who interacts with it. And that joy really did come directly from Aris.
What can you make that's meaningful there that will, you know, last forever? And so I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried, and then finally I came up with that. And it's a metaphor of the dance of life. And there are people that will save you, and there are the people, the patients. And somehow that works.
I've also heard from a patient perhaps who is experiencing the end of their cancer journey, and in the end in a way that we would hope it wouldn't end for them, that they saw perhaps a human figure being lifted to heaven, but in a way that still was joyful and that felt supported.
And so the nice thing is that when people go by that, they really love it. It's truly the dance of life.
He really has that childlike innocence and curiosity and fascination that probably all of us seek as adults, you know, try to get back to. And he never lost it, I don't think.
No, he is just thrilled to be alive and to be able to participate in this world. And that joy that is at his core comes out, I believe, in his art. I think the longer we got to know Aris, the more we wanted to have a piece of his art in our house. And it was just a matter of choosing which piece it might be. And Trickster was the first piece that we fell in love with, and it remained that way. It's beautiful to look at. It's evocative of an archetype, which is how he described it, that's able to balance the different forces in life, the difficulties, the joys, the ups and the downs, with consummate skill and joy.
A trickster is somebody who can, with great wit, I think, make something out of nothing, which is really what art is. And it's got a nice kind of joyous ring to it. When you work in these things, you spend untold hours, and then all of a sudden the justification, the verification comes, and boy, is that ever good. It's like seeing a child born for the first time. Not bad, huh? Well, there we have a decent looking piece of sculpture. Imagine that 20 feet tall. You know, you'd be like this. I love it because it makes me happy. In the best deep sense of it, it makes me think I'm worthwhile being here. And I can do something that's meaningful.
He goes every single day to his studio and he makes sculpture. And his proudest moment is to come out with his newest creations.
With Aris, it's just a flow. And I mean, it's a flow of joy, of love, of how thrilled he is with being an artist and being able to express himself through his art.
After this, I'm going to make a couple more sculptures. What they are, I haven't got the slightest idea. I'm going to be as surprised as you are. Thank God.